welcome in our buddy Joe Davidson of
Yeah.
Sacramento Bee. Joe D, let's dive right into it. There's a lot to talk about in terms of high school football. Some good, some bad, some great. Let's start with the bad. Something we were just talking about during the commercial break. What's going on with Amador County and that school out there?
Oh boy, it's a big blow. And Amador is up in Sutter Creek. It's up in Amador County. It's one of those small school pride football programs. Went to a state final in 2016. Smaller school. The team has been the season has been pulled, and Tori Gibson is the superintendent of the Amador school district up there, and they're doing an investigation that they anticipate could take weeks. So they said we're going to end the season with a highly inappropriate, direct quote, group chat that included the majority of the football team. I can't get specifics because I don't know the specifics. They say they're still investigating, but it sounds like they might have had some racial undertones, which is, the thinking is if you're not mature enough to be on social media, then don't be on social media, especially if you are representing your school and your family and all of those things. On the Amador High School website, it has a prominent posting of we expect our student athletes to behave and our community members to behave because you represent the school in your town and all that. And anything that doesn't jive, you'll be held accountable. So they have ended the season pending this investigation. It's unfortunate, and the community is divided. Half the community feels like, this needs to be done. We got to have accountability. We got to clean this stuff up. And the other half are saying, this is ridiculous. And, what's the big deal? It's the media stirring it up. No, you got a problem up there. Mm-hmm. And when you cancel games in a season, the rest of the league, the Mother Lode League, their teams from more up in the hills, Somerville and Sonora and programs like that, they lose a game too. And you can't just reschedule somebody. Kenny, from your high school days, if you're at McClatchy and have a Metro League schedule and a team pulls out, you don't have enough time to reschedule. So loss of image, loss of gate receipts, loss of memories and moments, and they're feeling. The junior varsity team is allowed to continue, but something bad is going on to the point where you got to pull the plug. Unprecedented. It's rare. In my 30-something years at the B, I don't remember a team having the plug pulled. It's happened in some instances where wildfires have forced a lot of evacuations and all that, but not something of this magnitude where a group chat got out of control and 3 staff members at the school are suspended or on leave. So it's a big mess, and it's hard to get to the bottom of this because these schools put gag orders on the coaches and on the athletes and blah blah blah. But community members will talk, and so we're kind of digging in on that. It's not the kind of stories we want to do, guys. We want to chronicle the achievement of teams and all that, but these are the stories that are part of society.
It's my first thought, Joan. It's unfortunate that I can't necessarily just go through this. My first thought is to applaud the administrators there for taking a hard stance for something that was inappropriate and saying like, no, you guys are going to lose out because this is not okay. Now, that's my first thought, but then you don't know why they're doing it. They could be doing it to not have legal ramifications, or they may not think it's a big deal, but their hand may be forced. So it's unfortunate that I got to think that way. But at the same time, one of the things that I wonder, how you would go about it is maybe as opposed to saying the whole season is done, maybe an indefinite suspension of the football season. Whereas I don't know if you can come back from this. You probably shouldn't be coming back from this according to how things are being played out, or you should lose your whole season. But I don't know, Joe, just in case, maybe would have been a situation where I don't know what it was. I could absolutely find out the details and deem, it's appropriate to be done for the whole season.
And that's probably what it is, Kenny, is we'd love to get a hold of the thread, not because we're National Enquirer, but just to help better understand. But the school district has said in statements that, these are minor students, they're under 18. And so we're going to protect that. And I think in some communities, they're divided. And they took down off of Max Preps, which is where you could input your schedules, and each school monitors that, but they've been scrubbed off the internet, off the there's no sign of their schedule or their roster, and I don't know who mandated that. It is important to know that the CIF, the California Interscholastic Federation, does not have a play here. They have to let their schools, the governing body has to let their member schools police their own schools. Now, if this behavior happened during the playoffs, then the CIF could step in. But otherwise, they've got enough policing to have to do with transfers and eligibility concerns. So this was a decision made by the school district, and the school district, it's a very tough decision when you pull a plug like that. It's a big gaping hole for the school's image and the fun of high school sports. So something bad enough, Damian and Kenny, where they felt that the only thing that we have to pull the plug in fairness to the rest of the league so they can prepare and reschedule or something. So we're going to try to get to the bottom of it and see what we could find. But these kind of things, like the Del Oro football situation a couple weeks ago when a player passed out, these are not the fun stories you want to do, but they're topical and they're issue-oriented type of things.
Let's do some fun stories. Let's talk about Folsom and what they got done this weekend. That was an incredible win for them.
Wow. The Folsom Bulldogs been our powerhouse since 2010. The one monster that nobody in the South Joaquin section could clear was De La Salle. And De La Salle had like 40 years of mowing through this region: Del Oro, Granite Bay, St. Mary's of Stockton, Folsom, everybody. And Folsom last year in the playoffs and the NorCal finals won at De La Salle. And then on Friday in a non-league game, won again. This is how rare and unique it is, guys. The last Northern California team to beat De La Salle at De La Salle 2 years in a row was Salesian of Richmond in 1978 and 79. That's how amazing it is. And we have to remember that just over a year ago, De La Salle's 30-year unbeaten streak against Northern California teams, that's 318 games, ended. So in the last year, De La Salle, which never lost to NorCal teams, has 4 NorCal losses by a total of 11 points, 2 of them to Folsom. Wow. So great for Folsom, but it means nothing if Folsom can't go into the Sierra Foothill League, which starts this week, and keep winning. Yeah. So that's a story I'm working on at the Sacramento Bee. The Sierra Foothill League has Oak Ridge and Granite Bay and Del Oro and Rockland and Whitney. Just a terrific league, terrific collection. And it's good, really, guys, for the whole area of football to have Folsom beating De La Salle. It's great that public schools are showing, hey, we can do it. And, people will bemoan that Folsom's got a lot of transfers and all that. But the root of Folsom's football success is still in the youth feeder program. Kids grow up just wanting to play huge numbers, and the train keeps rolling.
Yeah. So you talked about it a little bit. I mean, you've got an Oak Ridge team that has just been dominant this year, and they're getting Folsom at their spot. Do they have a chance of knocking off the Bees' number 1 team in Folsom?
I think so. And Folsom's 5-0, 4 shutouts. Great coach in Casey Taylor, won a bunch of championships at Del Oro. He's at Oak Ridge now, his alma mater. I got some emails this week. Oh, you're an idiot. Why would you project anybody pushing Folsom? I said, okay, we'll project every game 60-0. Don't go. Stay home and mow your lawn instead. I think they have a shot because of a great coach in Casey Taylor and a terrific strength program. We'll find out. We'll find out. The Folsom coach is hilarious. Good guy, Paul Doherty, goes, hey, we're terrified that we can't keep up the rallies. They rallied against this team and that team, and last minute against De La Salle. I think it's coach speak. They're going to be just fine. I just think it's terrific football. And the other big showdown in there's 2 more in the Sierra Foothill League: Granite Bay, Del Oro, 2 5-0 teams, and then Whitney and Rockland playing in the Quarry Bowl. So great football with football weather too. We'll take it.
Don't you just love what we do, Damian and Joe, where you could just be like, man, these are 2 good teams, and I think it might be a good game, and Oak Ridge has a shot to win. And then people, you're an idiot for saying that anybody has a chance. What? I said what both teams were good.
Well, no, it's true. It's or they'll say, oh, you're a hater. You're always picking us to lose. Oh, man, we do game previews every week with Chris Biederman at the Sacramento Bee and Jim Patrick and Cam Salerno, and we do we have snarky little funny comments because we don't know. We don't break down film. we could barely find our car keys every day. So we will predict the game, predict the game 42-35. And some coaches really take it personal. It's a rallying cry. Sometimes some readers take it personal and say, "Oh, you disrespected us. You think we're going to give up that many points? You're reading too much into it. It's football. It's fun. Let's have a good time." Or we'll just start saying, "Hey, it's going to be 40-0. Don't go. Go shopping. Go to Costco. Waste your time at Costco instead."
Shout out to our man Cam, by the way. Best journalist under 16 in the entire game, man.
And he is, and he takes it personally. He goes, "Hey, I'm older than not much." I started when he was a high school.
He's a little bit older than I insinuate him to be, but not much.
He's all of 22, and I give him a hard time. I said, "Don't be a Kings fanboy. I mean, you can't be a fan," but though he grew up as a fan, but he works hard and he cares. And
he's doing a great job.
He's a Placer County native, so he's out there all over. He's the man on social media and everything. He can't shoot free throws, and his lateral movement is pathetic, and his 40 is worse than all of us.
And he wears Under Armour with Nike, but that's okay. We're taking steps.
He might be sponsored.
We're by both. Now that would be impressive. That'd be impressive. By the way, you mentioned Rockland. That was a hell of a way for Rockland to win that game this weekend.
Yeah, so Rockland was playing host to Glacier Park of Washington State, ranked powerhouse. They came down. Great name, Glacier Park. Cold country probably. And they came down, and the kickoff was at 8 p.m. And then sometime in the fourth quarter or sometime in the second half, the power went out. The lights went out. Is that a problem? Yeah. So they got them back on, and then they scored the final 16 points of the game to win it. So it's like, hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for dealing with our power outage. And away we go. Hey, I tell you, the team that really scored, Sacramento State, the Hornets go to Fort Collins, Colorado, to take on Colorado State, which is not a powerhouse by any measure. They win that game 41-10 and take home a check of $400,000 to $500,000. It's supposed to be a body bag game. So it's like, hey, we came, we saw, we conquered, and we're taking the check.
Man, Sac State. I mean, I saw one Cameron, he put up some ranking that had them as the number one team in the FCS. I think in the coaches poll, they're at like number 4 or something like that. I mean,
4 and 5. It's incredible.
This team is when have we seen Sac State like this in the past?
This is incredible. So Sac State's last 3-0 start was 1992. So It shows that the program started in 1954, and they've won conference championships in 64, 66, 88, 95, and the last 2 in the Big Sky. So not a lot of success. And it starts with coaching. Troy Taylor is running the same scheme at Sac State as he did at Folsom High School. Same thing. Didn't reinvent the wheel. He's all about positivity. He's not a Mike Ditka type who's going to browbeat you. He is demanding. They're so well prepared. They're so conditioned. They do very little tackling. How can that be? Well, if you're on scholarship, you probably know how to block and tackle. They'll do some goal line simulation and they'll hit the sled, but they don't. The days of the old Oklahoma drills where you just crash into each other to show toughness and manhood is over. I mean, it used to be, Kenny, you probably didn't even get water when you were playing basketball at McClatchy. Now, not only are athletes hydrated, it's cold water, and you can have it anytime you want. You can even have an ice towel on your neck if you need to. So, what Sac State's doing is great. They play another Big Sky Conference game, or their Big Sky opener is at Cal Poly on Saturday. And in a couple of weeks, they'll have Montana, which is even ranked higher. And it's going to be an ESPN game. My challenge is, and I think we mentioned this on the show before, is, hey, man, fans, get out there. What do you want? You want an entertaining product? You got one. You want one with local players? You got one. How about a local coach? You got one. You want a team that wins championships? You got it. You want good weather? You got it. So go out and watch. And I think they'll get there. COVID was a real snag last year. There's still a lot of restrictions in the Sacramento County. That's all gone. But go out and watch this team. Cameron Scatabo is their star running back. He's from Rio Linda High School. He had 3,600 yards as a senior when he played at Rio Linda. Only one scholarship offer. That was at Sac State, because they could see he's a football player, and he runs with physicality. He leans in. He looks for guys to crash into, and he says, I got to have contact. It just makes me feel better. He's probably the kind of guy who has a blocking sled in his garage and he gets up every morning. I got to hit that for 20 minutes and I go off to school. So some good football amid the turmoil up in Amador.
Real quick, man, I just want to ask Joe D this. You know, I'm always worried about this. I don't know if everybody else is, but Coach Taylor doing such a phenomenal job at Sac State. I don't want him to go, Joe. I don't want him to go. Right. But if he keeps doing this, I mean, they're going to start throwing bags and bags of money at him.
Well, and here's what's interesting about Troy Taylor. He's homegrown, Cordova High School product, 4-year starting quarterback at Cal, set all kinds of passing records that Jared Goff broke. He's not a guy to want to bounce around, but he's going to certainly listen. He signed a 7-year contract, and he took a pay cut as the play caller, offensive coordinator from Utah of the Pac-12, because this is a great challenge. And he's won 2 conference championships, but they haven't won any playoff games. And so the challenges are still there. So he's 3 years into a 7-year deal. The athletic director at Sac State, Mark Orr, says it's a good problem to have. There's been some people who've reached out and they're going to, but Troy's turned it down. He's focused on that. They still have a lot to win there. Yeah. And I don't think Troy's the kind of guy that is going to jump to some school in the Midwest or the Southeast. He's still got kids at home, and his wife Tracy likes living here. And there's still some challenges here to do. And this level of football, the FCS, is a blast. It's really good stuff. And all right, so they don't have a bunch of NFL first-round picks. Carson Wentz was one, but it's still great football. And you also don't get guys who come and go all the time. You don't have guys jumping in the transfer portal and all that. So it's good, genuine, feel-good football. And I applaud it. UC Davis as well has had some good years of late under Coach Dan Hawkins. I think it's great for this area. They got a lot of local recruits, and it's worth. And I enjoy covering those 2 teams. It's good to see. It's nice that they're winning, which adds to it certainly.
Yeah, great stuff, Joe. We appreciate you as always, my man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Damien, Kenny, appreciate you guys. You're the best.
You're the man, Joe.
That's you.